stylist is the consultation. It changes everything. It's important to go over pricing. It's important to go over what the end goal is that the client wants, and what we can achieve for the day, for the actual session. It's better to be upfront and honest with the client. If they have box dye black hair and they want blonde, you have to be like, no, just no. If their hair is damaged, you also have to let them know what is safest for them. You want to always maintain the integrity of your client's hair. You never want to be blamed for frying somebody's hair. So consultation goes over all of these things, and that way you and your client have a clear understanding of what's going to happen for the day. So, Sarah, tell me about your hair history. What have you done with your hair?
First part I did was I really only highlighted it and then colored the bottom and then obviously shaving it out. Mm-hmm. But mainly just highlight. Actually, just highlight. Yeah.
Okay. When did you just highlight it?
When did you do it last?
I didn't highlight your hair.
Oh no, that was Alyssa. Sorry, it was Alyssa.
I was like,
so
what?
it was last semester.
Last semester.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is it that you want to achieve with your hair? Do you want to go lighter?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your roots?
If they're able to go dark, lighter, mm-hmm. then yes.
Okay.
If not, then just hopefully blend it.
Yes, blend it. Okay. And if we need to, are you okay with a trim?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she didn't mention base color. She just mentioned she's had highlights done.
Mm-hmm. Have you had base color?
No, just highlights.
Okay. So
from
the brown
that was for my natural. What the regrowth is my natural hair.
Okay. I do see a little bit of brown here. Was this permanent color here?
I've never done any permanent color. It's all natural or highlights.
Okay.
Or just washed out highlights.
I'm good. Okay.
Do you want to use one of those like little cups you have in front of the
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We may have to do a color melt a little bit here on the roots to blend. I'll try to do the balayage as high as I can to go with your base, but if not, we can just do a color melt and blend it, melt it down. Okay, so I start off by dividing it into 4 subsections. And pinwheel, the name Pinwheel Balayage is because you're going to section it like a pinwheel. So once you do the 4 subsections, you start to go in and section again down the middle. Sarah, if you can look down so we can show them. I'm going to start sectioning it even more. And the reason that we do this is because placement. And then I'll go over, for example, if someone just wants a small lift or someone wants to go with a crazy fun color and you just need to lift it a few levels and plug in the fun colors like Pravana colors or Joico. Or a subtle blonde lift. And also another good thing about this is it's not as damaging as doing the foils because this is open air technique. Depending on the desired lift, using the saran wrap is going to keep the heat from the scalp on the hair to help it lift faster, or you could always do you have them here still, the lights?
Oh no, we took
The
them
heat
off.
lights. There used to be heat lights when I was here, and that helps too. The lamps that are a little higher up so that it's not dry air just drying out the bleach.
So you're pinwheeling each subsection, each quadrant, I guess?
Yeah, each quadrant.
Into how many? Or does it matter?
Doesn't matter, but I usually do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 9 or 10 sections.
Does it also depend on how much hair they have?
Yes. Yes, it does. Okay. So until I get back to that area, I'm going to start here. Okay, so I start from the back section here. And you're going to start from the bottom piece, and you're going to take a diagonal section. I'll show you on the top first so that way you guys can see, or I can turn her around. You can choose how big or how small you want your sections. The point of the balayage is time, it's faster, and the bigger sections, the better. So here is how I take my first section. Can you guys all see that? And with this section here, you're going to start from the bottom and paint upwards, and then I move over to this area. On each bottom area, you're going to do top and bottom. I also like to keep a wet towel with me with my comb. So when I do apply it, if I feel like the area is not going to look seamless, I do use my comb the first few here, and I slightly hit it at an angle so that you could see the bleach giving. I really don't use a measuring cup. Judge it by eye. I like it to be like a Greek yogurt consistency. Not too runny, not too drippy, but also not too dry. You want it to be Greek yogurt-like. Because if the bleach is runny, the bleach is going to bleed into each section. You want it to be thick enough to stay in its place after you paint it. I was just going to say that. Okay, so, no, you reminded me, thank you. I use different kinds of bleach. Usually I use Wella Blonder, or I use Matrix. This I'm using today is the Pravana Pure Light Balayage Lightener. It's designed specifically for balayage, but it's more towards the consistency of the bleach. You can really use any of them. They also have a lot of additives now, like the Matrix bleach, the Light Master. They have a little tub of clay additive. So it's a powder that you just put into the bleach mix, and it makes it a little more clay-like, so it lays on the hair better.
What brand is that?
Matrix. Virtually, you can use any brush. I like to use the paintbrush, and I like to use the Framar brush as well. The smaller the brush, the more control you have. I should say the medium brush, you have more control. And if I really want to pack it on, I like to use this paintbrush. You could turn this way, see like over the cape. But the reason I do it this way is because the paint is messy. I don't want it to bleed through, and I don't want a bump here from the towel being inside. So I do it this way so that it doesn't get on the client's clothes or make a bigger mess than it should. Okay, so I start with this section here. And I like to go in at like a diagonal slant. The common mistake with the balayage applications is that people try to blend it in kind of like color or like you would on a foil. The heavier that it is on the hair, the better chance of lightening you're going to get. I typically also like this for girls who are already blonde and just want maybe a little more. A little brightness or a touch-up. I like to start going away from the grain of the hair, and then when I get closer to my starting point, I like to go against the grains. That also helps with the seamless blend. It's good to also hold the hair very taut away from the head so that it's not falling all over the place. And see here how she has this root regrowth and this color here. Now, when we apply the bleach, obviously this is going to be lighter, this is going to be slightly lighter, but you may not achieve a completely even color because we're starting off uneven. So this is kind of a color correction slash balayage. This, to get her hair lighter and more even, would take a few sessions, and that's also something you would want to let the individual know. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try and start higher here for her to get more of a blended look. And for the developer with the Pravana, it comes with 3, low, medium, and high, depending on the lift you want to get. Because her hair is pre-lightened, I went with medium, because the integrity of the hair is very important to me. Bleach is no joke, guys. In case anybody doesn't know already, I mean, you could damage your hair really quick if you're not paying attention, if you're not sure what you're doing.
Fernanda has a question.
Oh, sorry.
When you use like the paintbrush, do you like to use the thinner ones or the thicker ones with the more bristles or less bristles?
Like these paintbrushes?
Yeah.
More or less. I would say I like to stick to the medium types of brushes. It's more control. The bigger, the messier it's going to be and the less control you have.
So can you use almost any paintbrush or just a specific type of hair?
Any paintbrush is fine. Now, I like to use cotton and saran wrap for these. Yes, some cotton, please. A little piece. I use the cotton to avoid any bleeding or transferring onto another one of my sections. See that blend here? So you know it's not going to be lines of demarcation.
Can you angle this one?
Yes, sorry. Referring to this area here.
Oh, okay.
If you feel like it looks blotchy in any space, you're going to go in at that angle with the comb. And that's what I'm using my wet towel for right now. I clean any of the bleach remnants off of my comb.
Can you turn her this way too?
Yes. And it's okay that the whole section isn't saturated because balayage highlights also give really great dimension. Dimensional hair color looks really good, especially with this technique.
Okay, thank you.
This is good. A little bit smaller just for the section here. And now I'm going to take my next section, and you're going to do like basically zigzags. This is how you also would achieve the seamless blend. Any questions so far, guys? Were you able to see that? So top and bottom on the bottom sections. Moving on to the second one, I'm only going to do the top.
And at your salon, how much do you guys charge for something like this?
Depending on the level of stylist you are, there's different pricing at this point here. Can I have some saran wrap to go over that area there? Do you see how heavy I'm putting it on here? I want to get that inside. I'm going to move over a little bit this way so you guys can see how I'm painting it, application.
So on the other piece, you did the underside also?
Yes, around the hairline you will do under and over. Middle, anything in between, you're going to just do the top.
Thanks.
And then any of the areas again that I feel need a little help, I go in with my comb. You can come around this side.
It's okay.
Don't worry. Markers.
How long would it normally take you to do a balayage on hair?
On her hair, I would say it would take me about 30 minutes. Because I'm showing you guys and everything in between, probably a little longer. And since she has a shaved bottom, maybe even faster than 30 minutes. Going back to the balayage over foils or highlights, it's a faster application, a lot faster. And in this industry, time is money. The longer you take, the more it affects you and how many clients you can take. Are you guys able to see that?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions so far about what I'm doing?
So do you like what's that called? The one in Hannah's hand?
Saran wrap?
Saran wrap, then foil?
In this technique, yeah. You can use foil though to cover the sections in between from bleeding.
And is this what you call your favorite technique? Or
I like it. I definitely like it. I like different techniques based on what I'm trying to achieve. But yeah, this is fast and easy for me. Oops.
How do you take care of like overgrown hairs of a balayage? You just go further and not touch what they have?
Yeah, you can go as high up as you'd like. Definitely you can go as high up as you like. Okay, so moving on to her next section here. Turn it this way for you guys to see also. So when you're doing highlights, a good thing to think about is visualizing what the hair is going to look like when they wear it up. How the highlights are going to lay when you're thinking, okay, wait, how do I place this? How should I angle this? When the hair is up, you're going to see the lights around the face, around the ears.
What saran wrap is this?
I'm not sure it's the school.
It's the one from our a couple demos ago,
The sunlight.
Sun
Oh, so
lights.
it's not saran wrap, it's the balayage wrap.
The volley wrap.
Any of
It's so
them are
fancy.
fine. It's the same
it's
thing.
perforated, this one, it's easier to use. Remember she showed us? We have it, she left it here for you guys to play with.
It'll stick once it touches the bleach. And then here I go with the diagonal again.
That's really important because, yeah, you always see that V, very hard line to blend. This zigzag is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We left the bottom out. That's okay, you can always go back in. You can do the V's, the W's that everybody's familiar with, that everybody sees. You guys know what I mean about painting this way? It's get creative with it, you know, like there's no right way or wrong way. You could find your way that works for you, and it doesn't have to be exactly the way I do it or what you see. Get creative. As hairstylists, we're all artists. We all have a way of seeing things and imitating what we want. We see a picture and we can recreate it. So any road there is fine. A lot of people prefer to do foils over painting because with foils you also have more control than you do with this open technique. So what year are you guys graduating? Is this year?
Yes.
Some of us this year, some of us next year.
And how many of you know what you're doing when you're done with school? That's okay. It's hard to make a difference. The Blondor is good too for this. You can, like I said, this type of consistency here, as long as it's looking like this, you're good. If it's runny, forget it. Don't even try to do this. Okay, so in this front area here, I section it a little differently. I will be using the tease method on the front. Are we able to lower this a little bit?
On your right.
My side, right in front of my face. How I have it sectioned, where all the other ones are a little smaller.
So you have a big V part.
Big V part, yes. And then it's a lot easier when you have a mirror in front of you, but bless you. I
have a hand mirror, but it's at my station.
No, that's okay. So I take it, I don't know if you guys caught that.
Here's your mirror.
Again.
Look at the camera.
Starting here. Oh yeah, there you go. I try to get a zigzag in here. And so when I comb it this way, these pieces here go a little down. And the angle that you're going to hold it at, do you see the peaks in here? I'm not trying to paint those. I'm not trying to saturate those. So if I held it back and painted it down, I'm not going to achieve what I want. I'm going to hold it at an angle so that I'm able to paint these points here. Find that angle and then go in. Usually I have a mirror in front of me, like my station, where I'm able to kind of just do it this way. Sorry if I'm pulling you.
It's okay.
Another thing you can do when somebody already has pre-lightened hair is you can use different bowls of bleach with different developer levels. Like if you just want to slightly lighten the ends, you can do like a 10 volume and do a 30 on the roots, depending how dark they are, to keep the integrity of the hair. So I like to keep it like a layer thick, like a little coat. If I blend it too much, it's going to be more orangey where the thicker parts are going to be lighter. And then I bring it down and paint. Can everybody see that? So I held it up at that angle, and then I pulled down to paint the ends. Can we put some cotton? Let's put it here so it gives a bump.
Do we have another layer? Is there?
That's good. And then just get that. So now I'm going to go in again and do the same thing. I'm going to do the zigzag. Another thing too, guys, parts don't always need to be perfect. Especially in this look, you're not going for perfect lines, you're going for blend.
Sorry about that.
I'm moving, I mixed a little bit of the medium with the high because I want her top part to lift at the same pace as her bottom part because we've left that on for some time now. So it's lifting nicely and we need to get the top to be on the same speed. And we also do waxing at the salon. They used to have nails and full body waxing. Now it's just facial waxing. And they use, it's called hair remover. It's not an actual wax. It's supposed to be for sensitive skin. It works really great. So if you're like someone who breaks out or gets redness, their hair remover is really good. It's just like wax, but I think it's honey-based or something. They teach you a course on that too. Like they have someone come and help you do that. They're not going to just throw you to the sharks. They'll show you how to use it before they open that service on your books. People can also book online. You guys can also have, in this service, we could have also skipped sections, done every other, if you wanted to.
Do you normally tease the front?
Yes, I was just going to say that. So I only tease the front last section. I don't tease it yet because that would overcomplicate this whole thing. You just want to do it in the front so it's seamless there. A little more, I'll show you what I mean when I do it. But that's the only part I tease.
Like your money.
Mm-hmm. You can always use the point of your brush or comb too. So going back to where I was at that other salon, I left because I wanted to obviously make more money and build my clientele, and things were going very slow for me there. So when I did make the decision to go to the salon by style, like I said, it was something I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do that in the beginning, but I was already kind of comfortable where I had started, and like I said, they hired me while I was in school, so that was a big deal for me. As soon as I made the move to go to Salon by Style, things immediately got better for me. I had so many walk-ins, and I built pretty fast. I mean, being able to build clients in 1 year and move up that way. And you do that in the system too. You could see when they last came in, what you did, but you should also document the person, what day, how much service, or what service they did, and how much it was, so you can be on track with what you're making. That up for me, hon?
And that number that you just said, 525 or 550, that's in 20 hours of a work week.
That's in 20 hours.
And you have,
She said it's not a.
She said
it's not a
weekly.
day, It's 20.
they give you 3 months to do it. They give you 3 months, every trimester, you have the opportunity to do it. So let's say January to March, you have to weekly make 550, 520, I can't even remember. And when you make that number consecutively, it automatically bumps you up. They automatically bump you up, and then you go over if you want to change your pricing. So, yeah, it took me a year to do that. And some people may be sooner, some people may be longer. But you can always do it this way too, no big deal. It just takes more sessions to give her what she wants.
I like being a guinea pig.
Well, it's also how you learn too. If one of your classmates makes a mistake on your hair, you're going to learn how to, okay, well, let me not do that because this is what happens. So it's good to make mistakes because we learn from them. If you don't, then that's a problem. But, you know, you should. So usually you just do about like 3, hold it loosely, and back comb it. Can we put a thing down? No, wait, really quick. It's okay. I just saw something really good. Okay. Lightly stroking it. And I'm gonna keep holding it tight before I decide to go back with it. And once again, I'm just gonna do the combing to get the blend, the seamless look. Another thing I wanted to add, guys, don't ever promise a platinum. Do not ever promise a platinum, gray, silver look to any client whatsoever. Because you never know what result you're going to get. You never know what result you're going to get based on that client's hair. You just never know. So don't overpromise and underdeliver. everything? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Before I do her entire hair, I'm going to start with just her roots. I'm going to do 5N on her roots.
That's double development. Did you double this?
I didn't mix it. Did you double it?
What?
Did you double the developer?
Is this the right thing?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I am going to start with the front. This is 5N, which is essentially what she is on her roots. So I'm not going to touch the front piece. I'm just going to start here. And guys, anytime you do highlights and there is lines of demarcation or regrowth, you can always save it by doing a tone on the roots.
I'm crazy. That's why.
To
And
each
weird.
their own, to each their own. It's your hair, you wear it how you want. So I'm just, again, going on that under part for her to get rid of all this red that she has. But while I'm doing that, you guys can see the way that the technique I used gave that look. And in Shades EQ, this is Wella with 10.
So even though that's technically a permanent color, when you're using a tinted, it behaves more like a demi.
Mm-hmm. It's just depositing, we're not lifting. Well, we use demis too. Semis and demis in Redken. But you could still do the same thing. You can always use a permanent color with the 10 volume. That's no problem.
You're not gonna go all the way to
Yeah, I did 9NB, a splash of 9GB. The main base color was the 9NB. And then I put a little shot of 6G in because you guys didn't have 8.
It smells really good.
I know, it's like my favorite thing about it.
It's the bomb.
Thank you.
I think she was gonna do that anyway.
Okay, I need my white comb. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
The wide one, yeah.
When's your birthday?
Very nice.
Alright, girl.
Wash it out.